All right, let's get to the AEW Dark results for November 10th, 2020. First, Chaos Project defeated TNT. Now, TNT is actually the sons of Devon Dudley. That's his sons on that. The Acclaimed defeated Louis Val and Justin Black. Top Flight defeated Baron Black and Frankie Thomas. Word is that Top Flight might have signed with AEW. We get a little Peter Avalon private dinner and elevator segment. Wonder what his character is going to be doing. The Hybrid 2 defeated Adam Priest and Sean Dean. Lucha Bros, one of my favorites, defeated Ashton Starr and David Ali. Leva Bates defeated Danny Jordan. Surprised to see Leva Bates. So we haven't seen her in the ring in a while. And I think Danny Jordan, it's been a while too. 5, Alan Angels of the Dark Order defeated Fuego del Sol. Ivelisse and Diamante defeated Dream Girl Ellie and Janicide in a tag match. And finally, your main event, Jurassic Express, defeated Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. Here is the AEW Dynamite results for November 11th. We got the winners, grades, and highlights. First up, we're live from Jacksonville and Daly's Place. This is the Fallout show after AEW Full Gear. First up, we had Matt Sydal versus Brian Cage. This took a little while to get going, and then it turned into a pretty decent match. Winner, Brian Cage. I gave this a 3.50. I don't know if this was the strongest one to start with. Brian Cage seemed a little rusty. Definitely needs to get some more matches under his belt. After the match, Cody Rhodes comes out. Apparently, we're getting a match with Shaquille O'Neal is interested. And I forget the girl's name that came out with. She was talking all sorts of smack. Then Brandy Rhodes came out and was talking smack about her. So there's something going on between maybe Cody Rhodes and Shaq. If you remember on AEW Fallout, actually they had a backstage segment and Shaq was sitting there. So once she said Shaq, I wasn't surprised. So Shaq and Cody Rhodes might have something going on there. Jon Moxley checks in, talking about Kenny Omega. It's tough to beat him twice. There's no question about that. And they mark it on your calendars, Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega, not for AEW Revolution, but actually December 1st. Oh, I'm sorry, December 2nd. It will be Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega for AEW World Championship match on Dynamite. This is interesting. They've done this before, and I think you need to hype something up to get you in between and before the Christmas break and get you to buy some merch, perhaps. So we get Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. We don't have to wait to February for that. The Bunkhouse match, the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall versus the Butcher and the Blade. I'm not a big fan of like the whole blood and guts thing and weapons deal. It's not what interests me in wrestling anymore. I heard Bubba Dudley talking about, or Bully Ray talking about on Busted Open Radio, that he was kind of over these kind of matches. And I'm kind of with you. I'm half the time the blood is fake. Winner, the Natural Nightmares. I gave this a 3.75. I mean, it had some good, interesting spots. Again, these matches don't really do anything for me. I don't know what else to tell you about that. We got a Matt Hardy checks in talking about don't squander what I've given you to Sammy Guevara. I'm not really sure what we're going to do with Matt Hardy's character now. I've talked about it before that I feel like he needs to go back to the broken Matt gimmick and stick with that. Then he's like normal Matt and broke. Like I don't even know what he is. Maybe now he's got something going forward. We'll see. Let him be creative and see what he can come up with. The Inner Circle introduction. This was much to do about nothing. Sammy Guevara wasn't there. But basically the big thing is that leading up, of course, some of the Inner Circle, Santana, and specifically Ortiz is not a big fan of MJF coming to the Inner Circle. I know this is setting up for something big going forward. MJF is now taking them all to Las Vegas. I assume it's going to be not Las Vegas. It will be a casino in Jacksonville or something like that, or in the area where they can film this segment. But it should be interesting. I like that little twist, and it was all right segment. Young Bucks check in. They said they'll take on Top Flight next week on AEW Dynamite. That should be interesting. Heard some lot of good things about Top Flight. They just appeared on AEW Dark. Singles match, Scorpio Sky versus Shawn Spears. We were supposed to get this a week or so ago, but we couldn't last week because Scorpio Sky was around somebody with Rona, but he didn't have Rona, so he's good, and we were able to get this match in. I would like to see their little feud keep going. Winner, Shawn Spears. I give it a 3.50. It was okay. I think Scorpio Sky, I've said this for a while, both of these guys need some kind of push. I like that they were having a little feud on Dynamite. Let's see. It'd be interesting to see who would take these two guys and do something with them. I feel like there's something that should be done with them. Not really sure what it is, though. Kenny Omega checks in, talking about the cleaner maybe coming back. That's a good thing. That's what we all want to see. Again, he was the best wrestler in the world like 2 years ago. Let's put him back on that spot. I think Kenny Omega is a guy that can carry a company. He just needs to go back to that gimmick. Or, make something up new. Give it a little twist to it. Tay Conte versus Red Velvet. This actually turned out to be a good match. Good to see Tay Conte back in there after the whole Abaddon situation where Abaddon got hurt in her match. Well, Red Velvet looks good too. I mean, both of them looked good. I feel like the women's matches are starting to get better. Winner Tay Conte. I gave this a 2.50, not the 2.75. But again, I was giving these matches like 2s earlier. I thought this was good. I might have gotten a little bit higher, but again, Serena Deeb had a much better match, and I gave that a 2.75. But definitely improvements are coming from the women's division, and I think Tay Conte and Red Velvet are good wrestlers. I think they'll just do fine. The Inner Circle checks in. They're all excited about going to Las Vegas, and Sammy Guevara shows up. Apparently, he only got one email and that told him to go to the beach. And MJF said, no, I sent you one. So I think there's something setting up. I think we're going to set up something with Sammy Guevara and potentially MJF, which is two stars in AEW. There's no question about that. Finally, we got the match of the night, the one that I've been super hyped about since they announced it. Penta El Zero Miedo versus Rey Fenix. Again, this was a fantastic match. You knew it was. I wasn't sure how they were going to go with it because they already did a good job. And it kind of telegraphed me a little bit because I'm like, why are we doing this again? And then it got me thinking about this big surprise that Tony Khan had mentioned. We'll get into that in a second. But the match was fantastic. As always with these two guys, they were ripping each other's masks off. I don't think it was good as the first one, but you can't get... that was close to perfection anyways. This was still a great match. Winner, Penta El Zero M. Grade, I gave this a 4.50. This was the elite match of the night. And I was like, I wonder. We had a package from Pac, the Bastard, last week. And these two guys wrestling again, which I thought, I was like, okay, I'm excited to see it, but why are we doing this? Well, we got the answer. Pac is back. The Bastard returns. He wants a piece of Eddie Kingston to break up, remember, the Death Triangle, whatever their deal it was at the time. Then they didn't really get to do anything. I mean, there's Death Triangle-like logo. And so Pac is back, going to take on Eddie Kingston, and these two guys are going to go at it, and it should be a fantastic match. But that was it for AEW Dynamite. Next week's card, AEW card, should be a slobber knocker. Well, it still should be pretty good. Of course, the big news is Pac will make his return to the ring. That's the most exciting part. But what we got going on is first we got a tag match, Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. I really think we're going to get something big going on with Darby Allin and Ricky Starks. I think these two guys are poised to have a long program going back and forth. I think that will be good. Inner Circle will be in Las Vegas. We'll see what happens to there. Like I said, I think that this will be filmed in Jacksonville. It should be a pretty interesting, fun segment. We'll see how that goes. Tag match, Young Bucks versus Top Flight. We'll get a chance to hear the hyped Top Flight, one of the top tag teams in the indie scene. It'll be really interesting to see these guys go at it. Definitely check out their match on AEW Dark. Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy will be that match after Kip Sabian slapped him in the face. Looks like we'll have some kind of long program for Kip Sabian and Orange Cassidy and Best Friends and Miro, which would be good. And then the big match would be exciting to get back in the ring. Pac versus The Blade. Finally, Pac getting back in. So I guess Pac is going to feud with Eddie Kingston's crew for a little while there. So it's good to see Pac back in the ring. We'll see how rusty he is. And that will be for next week's AEW Dynamite.